It is said that, in ancient times, there was a poor family living in the middle of a poor village. The father used to go to the city every day to work for a wage from morning until evening, so that he might secure sustenance for his small family, consisting of the mother and the boy, and one day, the father became ill and very tired, which led to his death, leaving behind him a family without a supporter. So the boy realized at that time that it was his turn to take responsibility instead of his father, and he used to go out every day to the streets of the village, then to the alleys of the city and its large markets. Perhaps he might find a job that would enable him to live with his mother, even if with a small income that would secure their daily sustenance. And then despair and frustration fell on him, and he stood in the streets at a loss, not knowing what to do, and sat in the alleys of the city crying, because of the injustice of the difficult life that had exhausted him since his young ago. And on that day, the desperate little one came out of the huge city, in which he did not find any job opportunity. He returned to his poor little village, so he was surprised by a herd of sheep grazing a young man, and, until the boy stopped him and asked him, "My brother, for God's sake, who are these spreading sheep and who is their owner? Please show me. Perhaps he will let me take care of them, even if it is for the price of a loaf of bread." Then the young man told him that the owner of these sheep is a wise man, who lives in the city and a well-liked person among the people. And if the boy helps him now with these sheep and returns with him to the city, he will take them to the man's house. Indeed, this is what happened. The boy returned with the shepherd to the city and met the wise man, and the man agreed that the boy would work for him on the farm in exchange for a fee that would help him support the pillars of his poor house, which almost collapsed over the head of his helpless mother. Then the boy began to work hard and clung to his work with determination and will, because in his view that opportunity would not be repeated again. He worked hard on the farm, took care of the sheep, and mastered agriculture well and elaborately. And the two, the boy and the man, were watching each other, where the boy saw in this man a great role model. He was a successful and wise man, and very much loved by the people of the entire city. The wise man watched over the young boy for a whole year of hard work, sincere effort, persistence, and determination to learn. Unfortunately, he died, leaving a shock and a message to that young boy. And the content of this letter was somewhat strange and surprising, as he used to say in it,
"Son, I watched you throughout the year and found great qualities in you. Any son to inherit me, but I believe that you are the best heir and successor to be found outside the city walls at that mountain, and at this very point you will find my precious treasure, but on condition that you do not despair and go on the road and do not grieve at all."
The boy was deeply saddened, for this man was dear to his heart, just like his father, and he took a vow to himself to find what the wise man left, whatever the cost. Then he took the shovel and took it to the aforementioned point at the top of the mountain. He began breaking the rock and digging the earth during the day and digging it at night, digging and digging day after day. Perhaps he would reach what he wanted before the start of the winter season. But, unfortunately, this work was very tiring, and he could not do it alone. He must find a worker to help him with the digging work, and the winter season begins, and the boy stops his work, determined to work in the city during this winter season diligently and persistently in order to secure an amount of money in order to use a worker to dig with him during the summer. And when the young man returned to the wise man's house, he found that there were only 2 heads of sheep left that the good and wise man had left behind. He took care of his sheep and offered his services and expertise to the merchants of the city, which he gained from the wise man to earn second job. He worked here and worked there day and night. He invested every dinar in buying sheep to accommodate his work, and he has a herd that enables him to start his journey in the livestock trade in the city. The winter has passed, and he actually hired this boy with him as a worker who helps him dig again after the torrents filled everything he had dug in the past year. He dug and dug and dug until one day the worker stopped him and told him this summer we can't dig anymore. If you want to go deeper, you have to bring in more workers. The boy stopped his digging work, disappointed that he did not find what he was looking for, but there is no room for despair. He must continue until he reaches his goal year after year. This boy has become a successful young man in trade. He expands his work more and more, and every summer the people of the city get used to it. He brings workers and goes to dig what was destroyed by the winter torrents, and as usual he does not find anything.
They are surprised what his need for treasure or heirs may be a figment of.
The wise man's imagination, just as he has money that definitely exceeds the value of this treasure, until that disastrous year came, with severe cold,
Heavy rains and torrential rains that destroyed all crops,
which led to a
scarcity of materials,
poverty and need spread throughout the city, and the
city's greedy merchants practiced the policy of monopolizing people.
The conditions of low-income people deteriorated and the poor increased in poverty. The young man stood bewildered what to do.
Will he survive himself in this harsh winter, as the rest of the merchants do, and leave the people of the city to struggle with their sad future?
Certainly not. He rejected the matter and began distributing aid to limit the
Effects of the crisis on the people of Medina and spread his new policy
of moderate selling, which forced all merchants to submit to its laws.
Otherwise, failure and the stagnation of their materials in the city's markets will be a harsh punishment for them, convinced that it is a black cloud that
will inevitably disappear, and that what God has given him of yes, but it is a
debt that was due to be repaid.
This young man won the love of every child, man and woman in the city,
because of his magnanimity and morals, and the winter season ended, and
the black cloud cleared over the city.
And it is stronger and more resilient.
How not?
And it learned a good lesson in wisdom and love of good for others, and thus the icon of its steadfastness became that successful and
generous young man. And when the summer came, all the men of the city gathered at the door of
his house, saying to him, "We would like to return this favor to you, and we
will not let you go to dig alone. More and more, deeper and deeper, why not?" And everyone worked with love and sincerity. Until one day someone screamed, "Look what I found!" So everyone went quickly, accompanied by the young
man to that point, and they found a small cave located inside the rock.
Deep in the hole, the young man entered and imagined to him as if he was living a dream.
He didn't need any money, and he just wanted to fulfill his promise to the man who saved him along with his curiosity to discover his mysterious
treasure. Suddenly, he found a small box, and he was sure that he had found
what he was looking for many years.
He opened the box with caution
and fear, and everyone is waiting. But what did he find?
A glass of honey and a message. This is all he found. He opened the letter, on which was written the name of the wise man, to read what was in it.
"Son, if you read this letter, know that you have reached my most valuable
treasure. Rather, let us say your most valuable treasure.
I know that you do not need money, but you have achieved real success here.
Look around. You would not have reached it without it. The meeting of the people of
the city on your love and their unbridled desire to help you.
This
determination of yours and your wisdom in dealing with them is the real
victory. Congratulations to you.
As for the cup of honey, taste it and be sure that what you will taste here only is the taste
of true success."
Here our story ends. If you like it, share your opinion with us and share
your friends in this interesting article, and tell them that money is not everything beautiful in this life, but loving people and dealing with them is
the real success.